Hachette Digital presents The Limpopo Academy of Private Detection by Alexander McCall Smith. Read by Adjoa Andoh.
Din 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 dan dan da. Din 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 dan dan da da. Din 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 dan dan da. Din 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 dan dan da da.
In Botswana, home to the No.1 Ladies Detective Agency for the problems of ladies and others, it is customary, one might say very customary, to inquire of the people whom you meet whether they have slept well. The answer to that question is almost inevitably that they have indeed slept well, even if they have not, and have spent the night tossing and turning as a result of the nocturnal barking of dogs, the activity of mosquitoes, or the prickings of a bad conscience. Of course, mosquitoes may be defeated by nets or sprays, just as dogs may be roundly scolded. A bad conscience, though, is not so easily stifled. Bad consciences, it would appear, are there for a purpose, to make us feel regret over our failings. Ramotswe was fortunate in having an untroubled conscience, and therefore generally enjoyed undisturbed sleep. It was her habit to take to her bed after a final cup of red bush tea at around 10 o'clock at night. Mr J.L.B. Matekoni, her husband, and by common consent the finest mechanic in all Botswana, would often retire before her, particularly if he had had a tiring day at work. She would not take long to go to sleep, drifting off to thoughts of what had happened that day, to images of herself drinking tea in the office or driving her van on an errand, to the picture of Makutsi sitting upright at her desk, her large glasses catching the light as she held forth on some issue or other, or to some memory of a long time ago, of her father walking down a dusty road, holding her hand and explaining to her about the ways of cattle, a subject that he knew so well. Ramotswe did not remember her dreams for very long once she had woken up. Occasionally, though, an egregiously vivid dream might make such an impression that it lodged in her memory. And that is what happened that morning. It was not in any way a bad dream, nor was it a particularly good dream, the sort of dream that makes one feel as if one has been vouchsafed some great mystical insight. It was, rather, one of those dreams that seems to be a clear warning that something special is about to happen. In this dream, she was walking along a path in the stretch of bush immediately behind Clockweng Road Speedy Motors, the building that the No.1 Ladies Detective Agency shared with Mr J.L.B. Matekoni's garage. She turned a corner and found herself faced with a large acacia tree, its foliage extending out like the canopy of a commodious umbrella. Underneath the tree, standing in such a position that the mottled shade of the leaves all but obscured his face, was a tall, well-built man. He now stepped forward, held out a hand and said, "I have come at last, Ramotswe." And that was the point at which Ramotswe awoke. For a few minutes after waking, she had lain still in bed, mulling over the dream. Had the man been her father, then the dream would have been easy to understand. She knew that she dreamed of her father from time to time, which was only to be expected, given that not a day went past, not one day, when she did not think of that great and good man, the late Obed Ramotswe. If you think of somebody every day, then you can be sure you will dream of him at night. But it was not him whom she encountered under that acacia tree. That was very clear. It was somebody quite different. Somebody she sensed who was from a long way away. "I had a very unusual dream," she said to Makutsi as they attended to the morning's mail in the office. "Please, tell me what it—"
Sample complete. Ready to continue?